The European Central Bank today lowering its key rate. First time that's happened since 2019, signaling the end of its aggressive policy to stamp out a surge in inflation. Here comes Doug Flynn on this, a certified financial planner and co-founder at Flynn Zito. Joins us. And what about us on rates? Comments on Europe, and then when we get going here.
Yes, I mean, their economy's been stalled since the end of 22, where ours is kind of continued growth. And so they were teetering on a recession where we didn't get quite as close. But they also got their core inflation down below 3%. Ours is still a bit above 3%, like 3.6. So they are closer to cutting, and so they've announced it. Now, they've also said they're not going to start a trend of continuous cuts unless the data proves that they should. But they're throwing that out there, and that's going to give some relief to the borrowers, and that's a good first sign. And eventually, this will come across to our shores as well at some point.
At some point. Let's talk about technology for a moment here. I'm going to put a headline up about Apple, but you and I have talked so much about Nvidia and about artificial intelligence here in recent days, especially that Nvidia stock split is coming up. But the headline on Apple in the Wall Street Journal is talking about how Apple fell behind in the AI arms race after years of playing it safe. Apple set to unveil some new features next week. Now, you talk about the AI race leaders. Of course, Nvidia is going to be on that list with Alphabet and Microsoft we have listed here, but not Apple. The thing about Apple, Doug, they don't always do things first. Never have, really. But a lot of times at the end of the day, they do it best. I don't know if that's going to be the case in AI. I guess we'll see. What do you think?
Well, it is interesting. If you think about Siri for a minute, that's sort of everyone's first touch into AI in a way. And that was Steve Jobs' last real project that he worked on before he died. And so that was 2011, really, when that came out. And since then, I mean, other than maybe asking what time it is, people don't really use that the way that they intended them to. So perhaps they're going to do a revamp of that. But Apple's issue is they've always tried to keep things within the Apple universe, and everyone else uses third-party kind of vendors. And so Apple has an issue here. If they really want to compete, can they do it all in-house, or do they finally break through and use some of these third-party vendors for the AI? That would get them along faster, but then maybe they can't control it as much, or maybe it's not as secure as they would like it to be. So that's the battle they've been having. I suspect that they will make some inroads and they will come on strong, but it just remains to be seen if the other companies are pulled too far ahead or not, or can they really make up the difference and then do something with Siri and whatever else they're going to do with the generative AI that everyone's talking about.
Showing Nvidia here, 20 seconds. What about that stock split and what that means?
Yeah, all it really means is that smaller investors, like if you have $1,000 and you wanted to invest in Nvidia, you can't even buy one share. And so after Friday, when they split on Monday morning, you'd actually be able to buy 8 shares because instead of having one share at 1,200, you'll have you'll have 10 shares at 120 is how that will go in a 10-for-1. So now everything will be. It doesn't change anything from a valuation or the size of the company relative to everything else, but it does allow theoretically smaller investors and other people to get invested in there. And then if more people come in, that theoretically drives the price up, which is what everybody's hoping for.
The $3 trillion company, $3 trillion. Wow. All right, Doug, thank you very much. We appreciate it.